Another study found that 98% of 4 to 5-year-old children score at a creative genius level. Creativity diminishes as kids grow older. Only 30% of 9 to 10-year-old children still score at a creative genius level. By the time they become adults, only 2% have maintained their creative genius level. One reason for the decline of creativity is our old school education system, which neglects creativity and instead focuses on training kids to memorize facts and solve problems. Further, worldviews tend to stiffen up, and as we grow up, we choose to think outside the box. But the main reason for the loss of creativity is the loss of creative energy. In this video, we'll have a closer look at that wonderful energy and what we can do to rekindle it. We don't have a word for creative energy. The Germans have a decent name for it: Ausdruckskraft. It means expression force. It's a good term because creativity and expression go hand in hand. Remember the sixth affirmation: in all things, great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. When creative energy expands into the aura of a person, it makes itself felt as charm or even charisma. Charm gives creative people away. According to the Tree of Life, the self consists of 32 so-called paths of wisdom. Each path has its own energy. Hence, the self owns 32 different energies. Mind that wisdom is the name of the second sephira, Chokmah. Chokmah is also the sphere of the life power, which we also know as vitality and spirit. This implies that the 32 energies of the self are different modes of the life power. In this video, we'll have a look at two of the 32 energies, the Mars and the Venus energy. The Mars energy powers our bodies and minds. The energy center behind our navel produces the Mars energy, which is red and hot. It regenerates cells, tones muscles, and powers sexuality. Mentally, this energy manifests as drive and ambition. That's why the respective path is called the exciting intelligence. People who lack Mars energy are prone to depression. People who have too much of it are prone to ADHD. The tarot card, the Tower, represents this energy. It shows the hidden working of this energy. It destroys old structures, old cells, and old mental patterns. As such, it has a purifying effect. This power prevents cancer, the malignant growth of sick cells. On the spiritual level, this force baptizes by fire. The Mars energy that isn't used up by physical activities, cellular regeneration, or sexuality becomes creative energy through an automatic energy distillation process. The energy center in the throat, the so-called Venus center, produces creative energy. The basic color of this energy is green. The tarot card associated with the Venus center is the Empress. The woman in the picture is Venus, the patroness of love and art. Pagan legends inform us of a clandestine love affair between Mars and Venus. This is an allegory that hints at the distillation of Venus energy from Mars energy. In children, this automatic distillation process works unhindered, and that's why they brim with creative energy. Puberty changes that. In adolescence, the automatic energy distillation process produces sexual energy. That's why children lose their creative energy as they grow older. Imagination is the mental faculty we use to create. Kids engage in creative imagination. Adolescents and adults engage a lot in sexual imagination. If you want to rekindle your creative energy, you need to return to creative imagination. Adults who retain a surplus of creative energy and don't exhaust that in promiscuous sex or an unhealthy lifestyle and maybe may become creative people, like artists, authors, or inventors. Creative energy wants to express itself. If creative people can't express themselves, they feel miserable. Creativity is a subtrait of openness, one of the big 5 character traits. Research shows that openness to experience and creativity are linked. 6 subtraits define openness. That's creative imagination, aesthetic sensitivity, attentiveness to feelings, adventurousness, curiosity, and liberalism. As you can see, the first 3, creative imagination, aesthetic sensitivity, and attentiveness to feelings, are directly related to creativity. The other 3 relate to intelligence. Adults have less creative energy than children, but they can make better use of it. Children have a brief attention span and their creative pursuits are random and short. Adults can focus much longer and hence their creativity is more productive. Adults who have ADHD have more creative energy at their disposal, but their attention span has remained as short as that of children. Hence, their creativity remains unproductive. Exception, when they get really hyped about something and get deep into the flow. The solution for ADHDers: practice mindful and visual meditation. Creativity translates the higher self's intentions into creative pursuits. True creativity takes that which is above to that which is below. The magician shows the principle of creativity. Above him grow red roses, which symbolize the higher self's intentions. The raised wand symbolizes receptivity to the higher self. The left arm that points to the below symbolizes focus. The roses in his garden stand for personal desires. They are the result of the magician's translation. The lilies represent the knowledge and the magician gains through creative pursuits. Adults can rekindle creative energy by engaging in creative imagination and creative activities like painting, writing, and inventing. Returning to creativity is a bit tough. It's like returning to the gym after a long absence. After getting back to creativity, expect that your creative energy will last 3 to 5 hours of creative work a day, like 3 to 5 hours of writing. Let's discuss a few techniques that help rekindling creative energy. A healthy lifestyle is important. An unhealthy lifestyle wastes energy. A healthy lifestyle includes fresh air, sufficient hydration, healthy food, and most of all, enough sleep. Working out boosts Mars energy, which boosts Venus energy. Stay away from drugs. Drugs cause cellular damage, which wastes energy in unnecessary body maintenance. Also, drugs pull your mind into subconsciousness. The drunken writer and stone painter, they don't create. They rummage in their memories, traumas, and repressed desires and put that on the page or canvas. Of course, there is nothing wrong with using art for self-healing, but that's not creativity. Sexual discipline conserves Mars energy. This doesn't mean no sex, it means no promiscuous sex. For men, this implies avoiding orgasms, since that drains their Mars energy big time. In this respect, women are lucky, since orgasms don't drain their energy, but the period does. Emotions, in particular anger and worry, burn Mars energy. A day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work, quote by John Lubbock. The inverted torch in the tarot card Adversity indicates the waste of Mars energy through excessive emoting. Mind that Mars is exalted in Capricorn, the zodiac associated with this tarot card. The cultivation of feelings gives access to new energy sources. Feelings and emotions are different affairs. The body produces emotions as a response to experiences, and they burn energy. Feelings come from the soul, and we need to cultivate feelings. Feelings give energy. Mars energy comes from below and feelings come from above. All enlightenment practices aim at increasing the influx of energy from above, in particular by cultivating love. Conscious breathing increases energy. The lungs assimilate oxygen as well as subtle energies from the air. We can increase the intake of subtle airy energies by imagining to breathe in fresh energy and breathe out stale, used energy. Breathing rhythmically improves the assimilation of energy from the air. Try this exercise. Breathe in through your nose while counting to 4. Hold your breath, exhale through your mouth, and hold your breath again for the same duration. Repeat this 3 or 4 times. Auspicious moments for this exercise is the time after waking up, at noon, at sunset, before you go to sleep, and 2 hours after you had a meal. Observe your yawn reflex. A yawn is a forced out breath. When the body yawns, it does not want more oxygen, it wants to get rid of old, stale energy. Next time you yawn, support the yawn by breathing out as long as you can and by imagining breathing out old, stale energy. Meditation regenerates the body and mind and boosts energy. 15 minutes of meditation can be as refreshing as an hour of sleep. Visual creative meditations rekindle creative energy directly, meaning they increase the automatic distillation process mentioned earlier. Visual creative meditations take your mind to the gym. Since creativity is linked to openness, you want to exercise openness to new experiences. Get out of your comfort zone and have adventures, however small. Tarot cards are pictorial representations of the 32 paths of wisdom and their powers of consciousness or energies. Meditating on tarot card rekindles the corresponding energy. Your subconsciousness understands and responds readily to the symbolism of the tarot cards. The suggestive power of tarot cards is very potent. Don't meditate on a particular card for more than 5 to 10 minutes at a time, because more may lead to energetic imbalances. Listen to your body. If it responds with negative emotions, cease the meditation and pick it up another time. Tarot cards both build up positive mental patterns and destroy negative mental patterns. During the dissolution of negative patterns, the body and mind are temporarily weakened. Hence, the need for patience in the work. Let's have a look at a few tarot cards that borrow themselves for rekindling creative energy. You can intensify the meditation by summoning the corresponding feeling of the tarot cards. First, there's the Fool. Like Chokmah, the Fool represents the life power. It boosts spirit, esprit, vitality, and rejuvenates. Spirit is a power that comes from above. The corresponding feeling is bliss or feeling spirited. The corresponding color is yellow. The Empress. As mentioned, the Empress represents creative energy. The corresponding feeling is love. The corresponding color is green. The Hierophant. The Hierophant represents intuition. In the context of creativity, the Hierophant is the muse. The corresponding feeling is a sense of purpose, and the corresponding color is red-orange. On a side note, the color red-orange can also help with depression. Strength. The woman in this tarot card is Venus, and the line symbolizes the Mars energy. This tarot card illustrates the sublimation of the Mars energy through love and art, the wreath of the roses, and the corresponding feeling is strength, and the corresponding color is yellow. The Sun. The Sun stands for regeneration. The corresponding feeling is happiness. Do you struggle conjuring happiness? Remember when you were young and played happily with your friends on a sunny day. The corresponding color is orange. We are immortal souls. It is our nature to be creative. We are most happy when we are on creative pursuits. Return to being a soul. Return to love, creativity, and pursuing your heart's desire. They'll make you happy, and nobody can take that happiness away from you. Thank you for watching this episode of Enlightenment Bites. I hope you discovered an inspiration or two. Please help to spread the light with a like and a share. And don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.